BBC Television presents...
Hancock.
Well, thank you very much for coming with alacrity, Constable.
No, I haven't come with alacrity. I'm on my own, silly. Let's not worry about that. What seems to be the trouble, sir? You appear to have reported a dead body. Limbs everywhere, you said. Was there lots of blood?
Your attention to detail is very poor. I did not say there was a dead body. I reported that I was walking home from the village shops when I noticed a large quantity of plastic limbs lying on the pavement.
So, let me see. You're now saying you've changed your story. You've wasted police time. I'm all fired up and ready to go. I was expecting to wrestle a murderer to the ground. I was expecting to be a hero. You've let me down. Plastic, I'm not a flipping bin man. Were they your limbs, Mr. Hancock?
No, I don't happen to own any plastic limbs, Constable. I have all my own limbs, as you can see.
Don't be sarky. Well, why are you worried about them? Just kick them in the gutter like everybody else does. Well, you dialed 999. I rushed over here. I was in the middle of making tea. The Sarge is going to be livid. I make the best cup of tea in the station, you see.
I'm sorry, PC Snarky. I was concerned what all these plastic limbs were doing here. It could be important, couldn't it?
How the devil should I know? Don't ask me. I'm a copper, not an expert on plastic limbs. Do I look like an expert on plastic limbs or something? This morning, I thought I put on a policeman's uniform. I must be mistaken, mustn't I?
No. I just thought you might be as concerned as what I am. They might be stolen, for example.
Well, now we're getting somewhere. So you nicked them, Mr. Hancock. So you're admitting to the crime. It's always best. Quicker in the end. Honesty is the best policy. Well, it isn't, but we're supposed to say it is.
No, I have not nicked them, as you say. Why would I do that? I'm not interested in plastic limbs. I am not a plastic limb fetishist.
And I suppose I am I? You may not be interested, but anything you do say will be taken down in evidence and used against you. I met a bloke once who used to nick plastic limbs for a living. You look just like him.
Well, be a good chap and go and arrest him then. He must be the culprit. It's such an unusual incident.
I won't. It can't be him, because I just made that bit up. We don't want any unusual incidents down the police station. We've got enough on our plate with the usual run-of-the-mill rubbish like murder, kidnapping, flashes.
Well, what are you going to do about it?
What do you want me to do? I'll turn the case over to the dummy police, shall I?
Don't bother, I think they arrived 5 minutes ago.
Don't be like that, I could have you arrested. I've got the full range of police powers, you know. You've got a wicked tongue. Have you been drinking, Mr. Hancock? I'll have you know I'm sort of high at the station. I'll arrest you on charge of insulting a police officer.
Well, find me one and I'll insult him. And I have not been drinking.
No, that's it. I'm going back to make the tea. They say I make the best tea in the station. I've won a special mug 2 years in a row. I'm so good they won't make me do anything else. Fancy that.
Why doesn't that surprise me?
Yeah, that's a good point. Why doesn't that surprise you?
If they won't let you do anything else, why are you here?
I slipped out the door when they weren't looking. They left it unlocked for a change. I usually can't get out. I expect they're out searching for me now. They'll probably call 999 and report me as a misper.
All right, clear off then, and you can go and make the tea. See if I care. I'll solve this case myself. I used to be an inspector.
Yes, that's what they all say before I put them in a cell. What were you, a bus inspector, Sherlock?
Right, I will solve this case. Inspector Anthony Hancock comes out of retirement to solve the case of the missing mannequins. I'll need some support. What about my old station sergeant, Sid James? He's a bit cantankerous, but he might just be of some use. He can make the tea. Ha ha. What's this all about, Inspector Hancock? We haven't spoken since I retired in 2005. I was hoping you'd forgotten all about me. I'm sorry, Sid. Needs must when the devil drives. I've just had a meeting with an insolent young bobby, PC Snarky, and I want him laughing on the other side of his face. We don't need him, Sid. I've still got it.
Still got what? The loot? Where's me share?
No, nothing like that. You know my detective skills.
What detective skills? You never had any.
Come now, Sydney. Yes, I did. Fingerprints Hancock, they used to call me. Don't you remember?
Only because you used to get your fingerprints all over the flaming place.
It was the powder. It gets everywhere. I solved over 100 notorious cases at East Jean Police Station. As you well know, they called me the scourge of the Surrey Police.
What cases? I can't remember any cases. It was a long time ago. Give me a for instance.
Well, you know, that and what about the Grey twins? I was on their case for 10 years and finally shut down their nasty little operation.
What? The Grey twins that ran the little tea shop in East Cheam High Street?
Yes, that was the one. I found out it was dodgy, Sid, after going out the back to complain about a stale tea cake. It was doubling as a massage parlour.
The Grey twins were very good masseurs. People were really fed up when you closed them down. I used them a lot.
Well, I should arrest you then, Sergeant James. They were offering illicit services. Would you like the cream or the jam on first? I said cocoa. Yes, well, we know what that stood for, don't we?
Yeah, they sold scones. Their mum baked them especially for them. They were the best scones I ever tasted.
Well, they shouldn't have sold me a stale one, should they? The shop was a front for organised crime. Well, never mind, they're probably out now. Forget past glory, Sid. Something else has cropped up. Have you been keeping your eyes peeled? Have you spotted a suspicious quantity of plastic limbs lying about all over the place, doing nothing?
I can't say I have. Who in their right minds would leave plastic limbs lying about all over the place?
That's it, Sid. You've got it. Somebody who isn't in their right mind has been leaving plastic limbs lying around. You've still got it, Sergeant James, that incisive mind.
Hold on a minute. I'm trying to write all this down. Did you say plastic limbs or plastic lambs?
Not lambs, Sergeant James, limbs. At least 20. It's every time I go out. I look one way and then I look the other. Another plastic limb, I say. Can this be happening?
Has anybody else seen them, Hancock, or are they just a figment of your imagination?
Of course they have. I'm not seeing things. Figment, I almost tripped over one at the bottom of railway cuttings. They're a potential health hazard. I could have lost a limb.
Well, who else has seen them, Governor? Got any names? Suspects, perhaps? Has anybody been acting suspiciously? Apart from yourself, I mean. Have you seen any ghosts or skeletons, for example?
There's no one I can think of at the moment, Sid, so we'd better interview a few people. Put some feelers out. Our ears to the ground, our shoulders to the wheel. Talk to the underworld, Sid. Let's prepare a crime wall and pin up a few likely customers. So, which old lag have you decided as our primary victim then, Sergeant? I mean, suspect.
It's a Mrs. Jenkinson. She's been inside for a bit of pay. Likes the sauce a bit too much. You know the sort. A few gins and she'd be throwing her limbs around like nobody's business.
I'm well acquainted with this sort of villain, Sid. But what makes you think our Mrs. Jenkinson is the one who's been running around with her arms and legs doing a sort of limbo akimbo?
I've been tailing her, and she runs a business that sells mannequins, and she lives 2 streets away. So that's opportunity, motive, means, and mannequins.
Right, it's her, no doubt about it. I'll pull her in for an interview. We'll keep it low-key, no rubber truncheons. I'll play good cop and you can play bad cop.
I want to play good cop.
No, I play good cop, Sid. That leaves bad cop. And as you're a bad cop, that's that.
It's not me, Inspector Hancock. I'm completely innocent. All my mannequins are complete. I checked before I came out. Anyway, not in the habit of cutting off their arms and legs, you see. They're no good without them, are they? Hick, hick. And I wouldn't. They're my only friend. Hick, hick.
No, don't cry, Mrs. Jenkinson. But how can we be sure you're telling the truth? I want to believe your innocence. Sid doesn't, but he's not very nice, are you, Sid?
Because it would be stupid. We sell complete mannequins, not spare parts, you see.
We're not going to believe any old cock and bull story, Mrs. Jenkinson. This smacks of the mafia to me. Do you go round people's houses and leave a mannequin's head on their doorstep?
That's not a bad idea, Sergeant. I hadn't thought of that.
Nice one, Sergeant James. Keep following her just to be on the safe side. Well, Mrs. Jenkinson, you can rest assured we will get to the bottom of this.
Wait a minute, Inspector Hancock. Just a thought. Has somebody been leaving bottoms lying around? We could do with some of those. They always get pinched.
Inspector Hancock retired, Mrs. Jenkinson. I'm not a real policeman anymore.
Well, if you're not a bloody policeman, you know what you can do, don't you? And the tears weren't real, you dummies. I'm going to show you two a clean pair of heels.
Right, she's definitely guilty. I think we've got our man. I mean our woman. But we'd better take a look at all the others just in case. Who's next on the list of suspects, Sid?
The first one is a Maurice Morris. He's a window dresser. He was seen dropping something on the pavement. One of my snouts saw him. It looked like an arm. I've asked the geezer over for a nice sort of little chat. He'll be here any minute.
Good evening. Isn't Inspector Hancock here? He sent me an invitation. It's really kind of him. I tend to get a bit lonely. I'm on my own, you know.
It was hardly an invitation. I wish to interview, sir, regarding a crime.
It's not going to be much of a party then, is it? What you got to drink? I like baby sham with a cherry. If you haven't got any, I'm off.
Look here, Morris, you won't be getting any baby Sam where you're going, sunshine. It's nothing but porridge for you for the next few years.
Oh, good. I like porridge with a lot of sugar. Why porridge? Am I staying for breakfast? Who's making it? You or the fat one?
Fat one? How dare you? Now, look here, Morris. You want to keep on the right side of me.
Why? You got a limp on your left side or something? Do you need support?
Come on now, settle down. You're a window dresser, are you, Mr. Morris? You like messing around with dummies.
That's too formal. Call me Maurice.
I just did.
No, Maurice, not Morris. I'm not a bloody car. Maurice, as in Maurice Chevalier. I spend most of my life around dummies. I sometimes pretend I'm one in the shop window, and then when people go by, I shout at them. It makes them jump.
We could arrest you for that. You could get an antisocial behaviour order.
Too late. I've already got one of those. For leaving naked mannequins in the window. They say I've been offending public decency. I have to put little fig leaves and stars on them.
So, you're familiar with mannequins and their various appendages then?
They don't have real appendages. That would be rude. We're not allowed any of those. Just a bump here and a bump there.
Right, let's get to the long and short of it, Morris. There's been a lot of spare arms and legs turning up all over East Sheep, and we want to know why. So on account of the fact you've been acting a bit shifty, we think it's you.
Arms and legs, you say? Let me think about it. Yes, it's me, all right, officer. Are you going to arrest me? Put me in handcuffs. Handcuffs? I'll go quietly. But have you noticed if any of them were gold? We'll have to go on back if you have.
Gold, you say? Well, you shouldn't have left it lying around in the first place. What on earth are you doing leaving bits of gold dummies around all over East Cheam?
I wasn't pulling your leg, you know. There's a special gold arm made out of solid gold. It's our Midas range, and we've been giving out clues to get people to search for it. It's worth thousands. It's good publicity for the shop.
What happens if someone finds it?
It's quite simple. We give you £10,000 and one of our range of new brassieres.
Well, so far, Morris, you've been very useful helping us with our inquiries. But in order so that we can close this case, you wouldn't mind telling us where exactly this golden limb is?
I just left it down the road on the corner of Railway Cuttings and East Cheam Terrace.
Right, Hancock.
Yes, and someone found it yesterday. Serves you right, you silly buggers.